Welcome, guys, to a quick recap of the NFL Week 13. I'll be making Week 14 later in the week, but I just want to make a quick recap of the week. And it was a good week. Last week we did something a little different. We went through all the games, top to bottom. I gave you my opinions, my leans, my takes, passes, all that stuff. I might continue to do that. So comment, guys, and let me know what you think. If I go through all the games, and because there might be something in there that you like and you just want to know my opinion. I get messages sometimes about other games that I didn't talk about, so I just might go top to bottom. Might even give a little bit of teaser information as well, because I get a lot of questions, a fair bit of questions anyway, around teasers, and so I can give you my opinion on those as well. But last week, listen, guys, sign up to the Patreon too, because again, that's where I'll give plays out, more specific plays later in the week, as I try to get these videos up earlier in the week. I might not have plays yet, so sign up to the Patreon. Again, I'll put the link in the description. Only $10 a month, guys, but it's well worth it. Last week, we can go top to bottom here. I said take the Bills -3.5. They won. I said I'd like the Packers if Rodgers plays. They covered and won. I said I didn't take Pittsburgh. I couldn't get there just because of, it's an Atlanta game and I can't be bothered. But I went into quite a bit of depth in that game. Pittsburgh was one last week I really liked, one I really was looking into. But I liked the Steelers. They came out and won. I took the fraudulent Minnesota Vikings last week. I said, take them on the money line. They won. They can't be trusted laying points. Those guys are so shit. They averaged 4.2 yards per play against the Jets. The Jets averaged 5.9 yards per play. Jets outgained them by about 200 yards. The Vikings punted the ball 6 times. All their yards came in about 3 possessions. They did absolutely nothing in their other possessions. The Vikings are now 9-0 in one-score games. Again, fraudulent team. Mike White threw for a shit ton of yards against that shit team. And the Vikings, I think, are opening up as a 1-point dog or a pick'em against, guys, wait for it, the Detroit Lions. A 10-2 football team going to Detroit in essentially a pick'em game. That tells you what the markets think about this fraudulent Minnesota Vikings football team. Kirk Cousins, put it this way, when the Minnesota Vikings win, it's not because of Kirk Cousins, and it's always Kirk Cousins' fault when the Minnesota Vikings lose. He's almost always the reason why that team loses, never the reason why they win. He's a piece of shit quarterback along with that piece of shit city and piece of shit team. Screw the Minnesota Vikings. I did take the Lions last week, money line against the Jags. Lions were able to do that. Tennessee, I was wrong about that one. I took Tennessee. Man, you don't see the Titans get blown out like that. And I got them at 6.5. Plus 6.5 last week. But the Philadelphia Eagles looked impressive. One of their best games of the season. They look like a 10 or 11-1 football team now. They looked really good. Tennessee, I can guarantee you this: the markets are going to start to crash on them. They've beaten no one of substance this year. All their wins against losing teams, and all their losses against playoff teams. They got beat against Buffalo. They got beat against Cincinnati. They got beat against Philadelphia. They just really do struggle. They lost to Kansas City. They lose against playoff teams. And I think the markets are going to start to crash. They lost all 3 phases of that game against Philadelphia. It was a complete and utter shit show. The Eagles deserve that one. But plus 6.5 with Mike Vrabel. I always liked that pick, but came up short there. I also did like, and I did suggest taking Houston plus the points. They came up short. The game was pretty close for a while. Deshaun Jackson did what we thought. He was a bit rusty for sure. Hadn't played in 2 years. They were, 14-8 for a while, and then they got a quick 10 points on a field goal, and then I think a pick 6, and that was all she wrote. Texans are a disaster. They're just waiting for the draft here, and they'll probably get the draft wrong, but they're not going anywhere, obviously, and they're just the worst team in the league. But that was when we got wrong. I said I picked the Giants at plus 2.5 with a tie. We got the win. The Giants didn't look good. It was 2 bad NFC East teams going up against each other. Washington, the nits of all nits, were running the football to try to kill the clock in overtime. They were playing for a tie. You don't like teams doing that. So even though I knew I got the game right already, I wanted the Giants to make that 58-yard field goal at the end, because I just don't respect teams that are that nitty. And, a Ron Rivera team, they're just way too conservative there. You got to play for the win. Giants, the right pick. Ravens and Broncos. What did I say there? I said I can't take the Broncos because they averaged 15 points a game and they scored a whopping 9. And I can't take the Ravens laying 8.5. And the only way they would have covered 8.5 in this game was if they shut out the Broncos because they only scored 10 points. So it was a good pass for me in that game. You can't bet either of those teams. Plus Lamar got injured. Who knows what would have happened? I said take San Francisco on the money line. I did say I'd like Miami plus the points, but my stronger lean was to take the Niners on the money line, because if you like them on the money line, you probably take them at -4 anyway. It's under 6, and we know 8 out of 10 teams will cover the spread when it's 6 points or less. I said the Rams against the Seahawks. I know the Rams are a team that's completely falling apart, but +7, 7.5, whatever it was for Seattle, I thought was too much. You take the home divisional dog in that game. I picked the Raiders. They also won outright. I took the Chiefs. That was a loss. I said that game was a coin flip either way, and it came down to essentially a coin flip either way. Great game on the wrong end of that one. Colts and Cowboys. I said, Colts, you like to take them with the points, but what did I say? Go back to the video. What did I say? Cowboys are a team that can blow you out, and last time I checked that box score, they scored 54. They blew the Colts out. I stayed away from that game. Saints and the Bucks. Mario, shout out to you. You gave me, he's my primetime guy. Primetime game every Monday. He's in the comments saying, who do you like for Monday Night Football? Who do you like for Sunday Night Football? Who do you like for Thursday Night Football? The guy's a primetime chaser. Shout out to Mario. I said take the Saints plus the points. Got the win there as well. We're rolling. Don't worry about it. Also, shout out to Rosita, my buddies, fiance, soon-to-be wife. She won her week in her football pool. I think she went 11-4, picking all the games, something like that. So shout out to her. The money goes to her, though, not to my buddy. We got to make that clear because he's going to try to take the money and say he won because it's getting transferred to him. But we got to make sure she gets paid. So, guys, give a shout out to Rose in the comments. Looking forward to week 14, guys. We're going to keep it rolling. Let's go.